Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley, and if you are new here, I would love it if you consider subscribing, and if you already have, welcome back. And today I have a little chatty video for you on my postpartum experience after having twins, so let's just get right to it. So I'm really just gonna start off by saying that I am hoping that I finally film this and not delete it or just finish and edit and publish, because I have tried filming this before and it is a touchy subject. So the reason that I have not actually published this video or even finished filming is because I had not the best postpartum experience. I was definitely not this happy, glowy, pregnant woman that you see all around. You see them on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TV, everywhere. You are expected to be this happy, glowy, pregnant person who is so happy with her body. And the truth is, not all of us get to have that experience. It's just the truth. And I feel like not everyone talks about it. And I know that I am not alone. And other women like myself might want something like this to not feel alone. So that's why I am filming this and sharing my experience with you. A while back, I did film my pregnancy story on how everything went from finding out that I was pregnant to then having the babies. And my intention was to film this one soon after, and it's been almost a year since that. So it's not as easy as you may think to simply share this with the world, because it's out there and everyone can see it. It's definitely more of a vulnerable situation with this video. So I really appreciate it if you keep it positive in the comment sections and you know, just be respectful for what I had to go through. And I know that not everyone goes through this, but obviously some people do, and I am one of them. So yeah, I should just get to it, right? So I had my kids when I was 36 weeks pregnant. They were healthy babies, obviously small, but not too small. My son was almost 7 pounds and my daughter was almost 5 pounds. I can honestly say I was not expecting to feel the way that I did postpartum. Right after I had my babies, I was so happy and I was just grateful for everything, for the experience, for them being there, for having a smooth C-section, for them not being taken into the NICU. However, after a few days, that like super strong feeling of joy kind of started leaving me. It's hard because I don't know if it's because I was having twins and it was a complicated pregnancy. I didn't feel like I knew my kids before they were born. You probably have heard other pregnant women saying how they bond with their child, how they feel like they know them before they're born. I really can't say that I felt that way because there were two in there maybe, and I didn't always know which was moving or what side they might be on. I always thought maybe they would switch or flip around. So I definitely didn't have like that strong bond before they were born. I feel like after they were with me, it was immediate. Like I felt, it's an indescribable feeling that you get. You're just overcome with so much love for these two little people, but you are overwhelmed with how much love you have for them. And it kind of scared me how much I loved them and I wanted to protect them. It definitely changed me and made me stronger and weaker at the same time. And I mean stronger because I then knew that I would do anything for my kids. As long as they were happy or healthy or to keep them safe, Mama Bear was out there. She was here and she was here to stay. So it made me so much stronger. I was not afraid to let people go, to speak my mind, if it meant the best for my kids. It definitely changed me in that sense. I was more reserved and shy, and then that kind of went away. I was like, no, these are my kids. I carried them, I loved them, I had them, and I will do anything for them. So it made me stronger. It also made me weaker because you kind of, at least I feel like I'm more paranoid now of the world in general. Definitely if someone comes for my kids, that is a weakness for me. And obviously physically I am so much weaker than I was before. I was not super athletic, but before I had my kids, like before I got married, I got super into fitness and I was stronger than I have ever been. I was at what I feel was my healthiest and strongest self. Not most people know this, but I struggled a lot with self-confidence. I never felt like I was the prettiest girl. I had the best body. I always felt like I was either too skinny and had no curves, because I come from Puerto Rico and women have like big booties and they have nice breasts and then these tiny little waists, and I didn't feel like that was me. So I never felt like I was super beautiful, and that's just the honest truth. And I'm pretty sure that this might come to a shock to a lot of people because I've never shared this publicly, but it definitely is something that I struggled with and I still struggle with. When I finally got into like, yes, I feel confident, I have worked for this body, I take care of it, I ended up deciding to start a family, and I was expecting, honestly, to just bounce right back, to get my body to where it was, to have abs, to have strong legs. And no, that's not what happened. I have weak knees now. My joints hurt all the time. And my body will never look the way that it did. And not everyone has this experience. Some women go through multiple pregnancies and they bounce right back. That wasn't the case for me, because I got super big, and even though I moisturized and I hydrated and I tried to treat my body well, I got I think it's called pup rash, and I got marks all over my belly. They never left. And because my belly stretched out so far, and then it was like, think of it as a balloon. After it deflates, it's kind of just floppy. That's exactly what happened to my belly. And even though I tried and tried and tried to work out and make it better, it's just not going to be the way that it is. And it's something that I still struggle with. And, you're not always prepared for that. So I definitely feel like it should be talked more about, because we get these ideas that we're just going to look the same that we did. And we might go back, but we might not. And it's okay to feel insecure and self-confident about your body. Yes, I am grateful for my body because it was able to bring these two beautiful babies into my life, and now it's creating another baby in there. But it's okay to not feel like you are in love with your body. It takes time. I am trying every day to accept my body and to be grateful and to know that other women would do anything to be in my situation if it meant them having kids. I have to remind myself about that almost every single day because it doesn't come natural for me, and I think that's okay. Other women are super proud of their marks or their bodies, and that's obviously amazing. If you are one of those women who are just fine with what happened with your body after pregnancy, I wish I was like that, but I'm not. It's tough. It might take years, it might never leave, but I am trying. And that's something that I was definitely not expecting to go through after having kids. So definitely something to, think about, not to dwell on or to just keep you from starting your own family, but just to know that it might be something that you will struggle with in the future. I struggle with it. I know a lot of women who struggle with it, and it's okay. We're not alone. I also had pretty bad postpartum depression, and I think that most of it had to do with breastfeeding. That I'll get to that in a minute. It's hard becoming a mom. It's hard because you don't know what you're doing, and you don't always want advice. You just want to do things yourself. You don't really want the help. or at least that was my situation. I wanted to do things my way. I didn't want everybody to be helping me. I wanted to do it on my own. It's a lot. If you have help, take it. You will be grateful for it later on. You're gonna be that baby's parent forever, so it's not really gonna affect you. I wanted to do most of it because that's just the way that I am. I like to be in control of the situation. That meant a lot of sleepless nights because I had my kids before we moved to Alabama, and we were staying at my parents' house, and they actually respected that. When I told them that, no, I'm gonna do it all, they would just wait until I reached out and said, yeah, I need help. But they would respect my being a mom and me trying to figure things out for myself, which I appreciate so much because I know that not everyone will do that for you. I definitely went through pretty bad postpartum depression, and I just wish I would have said something sooner, because I knew that I wasn't myself. I knew that I was sad, and even though I loved my kids, I was not happy. And as much as I wanted to be there for them and to take care of them, they needed their mom to be happy. And I just want to say, if you're struggling with this, or you have in the past, well, you know what I'm talking about. But if you are struggling with this, say something. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Most women go through it. Some women just get the postpartum blues. Others get full-on postpartum depression. And it will only get better after you say something. And yes, not everyone around you will know how to act. And that definitely sucks because either people are trying to hover over you or kind of don't know what to do because they don't want to set you off. But it's definitely still better for people to be aware. Not everyone, you don't have to, you don't have to say this to everyone, but definitely your spouse or your partner, your parents, people who are helping you and who are most closest to you, they should know, because they will only want to help you. And the truth is, if you're going through postpartum depression, you need the help. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. You need it. You need to rest. You need breaks. You need people around you to support you, who love you, who will just reach out and help you. I can honestly say that I was not expecting to formula feed. I wanted to breastfeed. I didn't get bottles. I didn't research formula. I only got a breast pump, because I thought I'm gonna need to breastfeed and have a milk supply, because I'm gonna do this for a while, at least a year. And breastfeeding in general is hard. It's hard. I know that it's something that is natural and it comes natural to a lot of women, but it is difficult. You have to take a lot of things in consideration. Maybe your milk supply will be too low. Maybe your child develops, I forget what it's called, but some babies have a tongue tie or a lip tie, which makes it really difficult for them to latch on correctly and, be fed. You can have an oversupply. There's so much going on. My camera overheated, so I don't know if I'm starting off where I left. Breastfeeding is hard. It's not always, it doesn't come naturally to everyone. It did not come naturally for me. I thought it would be as simple as just putting one baby on each breast and breastfeeding, just breastfeeding normally. But it wasn't. My kids were on different schedules. My son would latch on, and he would be so strong that it would hurt like hell. And I would actually cry. Even though he would latch on correctly, he was a strong baby and he was always hungry. So he would latch on and get the job done quicker. My daughter was smaller. She would fall asleep, so I would end up nursing her for a long time. And when I was finally thinking that it was done, she had not really fed correctly because she just fell asleep. So I would have to wake her up and try to play around with her. And by the time I was done with my daughter, my son would wake up and he would be hungry. So it was an ongoing battle. I ended up thinking that it would be easier to just pump It wasn't. It was really difficult because I would have to wake up every certain hour. I think it was every 2 hours to pump. And every 2 hours you pumped, and then my kids would wake up at different times. So I would have to feed one, and sometimes after I would burp them and change them and put them to bed, I would have to pump again. And after I was done pumping, I would lay down and my son would be up. So it was really, really difficult. And that made me super stressed out. I felt like a failure because I knew that it wasn't gonna work out for us. I also did have an overflow of milk supply, and I was always super engorged, and that hurts. It hurts so bad. And I would always have to be pumping to relieve some of that pain, which ended up in me having a lot of like milk supply in the freezer. But it was painful and it was stressful. It was a really difficult situation for myself, and my milk supply dropped significantly. Like, I could not express my milk. I tried pumping and nothing would come out. So I thought, this is God telling me it's time to just look at other options. And I did. That same day I got the formula and I started feeding them formula. They were happier, they were fed, they slept longer, I could sleep, and it just made a whole world of difference. And I wish I would have done that sooner, but I was so focused on breastfeeding. Plus, you probably will get so much people giving you advice that you just don't want. People would tell me that, oh, just wake them up at the same time, feed them at the same time. It's gonna get easier, just stick through it. Like, I was, giving up, or I wasn't trying, and that made me feel so bad about myself. It kept me trying longer, which made me feel more depressed for a longer period of time. My kids were unhappy, I was unhappy, and I wish people would just butt out. Do whatever feels best for you and your kids. Don't pressure people. Yes, breastfeeding is amazing, and I wish I would have been able to do it longer, but I couldn't. I really couldn't. I was killing myself trying to do that for my kids. So after I turned into formula, everything started getting better. I started feeling more like myself. I had a little bit more rest, and thankfully my kids they didn't have any reactions to the formula, so we were good there. But it's just a lot. It's not something you think that you're gonna deal with until it really happens. And even though my postpartum experience was not the best, really, I don't think I said a lot there that was super happy, I would still do it again. And even though in that moment when I was so depressed and down and not myself, I told people, yeah, I'm not gonna have a kid ever again. I already got a boy and a girl, I'm good. I would still do it again, and I am going to do it again. And I am really hoping and praying that this time breastfeeding does work out. But if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I have 2 beautiful 2-year-olds that are nice and healthy. If it works out, great. But if it doesn't, it's okay. It's okay. It's great that now we have at least options. So my advice to you would be, if you've finished watching this, because I'm pretty sure that this got long, trust your instincts. Don't refuse help. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't be ashamed for your decisions. Don't be ashamed to feel like you need a break. If you find out that breastfeeding isn't the way to go for you, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's gonna be okay. Your kids are gonna be okay. It's not the end of the world. It's gonna be hard. It's something that you gotta work into accepting, or at least I know that I had to really struggle with accepting that it was gonna be okay, that it was not really gonna work out any other way. But it really is. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing that decision. Yeah, I know that breast milk is really great for your babies, but fed is best. I don't care what people say, fed is best. And if that is what's gonna make you a happier mom, that's what your baby needs. He or she needs to be fed, and he needs his mom. He needs his mom to be there completely, to love them and to be happy to be their mom. And if maybe your plans changed from what you thought it was going to be before you had your babies, it's gonna be okay. We're all going through this. Some women have amazing experience postpartum, some of us don't. And just know that you're not alone. Try to count on your parents if you can, if they're there for you. You know, just try to reach out to people that you love, let your partner know how you're feeling all the time. If you are having any type of help from your family, you know, let them know. If anything feels like it's not supposed to feel that way, let them know. They will help you. And I'm just hoping that you have a beautiful postpartum experience. I am hoping that this time it will be better. But if it's not, I know now that I just need to communicate my feelings and, you know, not beat myself up over every little thing. So I'm hoping that you have a beautiful experience, but if it turns different, that at least this gives you a little bit of hope that it's gonna be okay, that you're not alone, that these things happen. It happens more than you would think. And just that, know that your baby is going to be a happier baby if you are. Don't compare yourself to other moms. I mean, each of us go through our own things and it's gonna be okay. So if you watch this, thank you so much. It was difficult to share and it's probably all over the place, but I really do appreciate it that you watched it. If you did, thank you so much. And if you are a subscriber, I'll see you again soon.